Hey guys, all right, gonna go over a few trades from today. So a little choppy today, not a lot of really clean price action, but the few that I was watching out of the gates on the gap scanner. So over here on the left-hand side, bottom left, I've got this gap scanner that I run every morning. I'll just go on this here to historical data and run this at 9:15 a.m. Okay, so this is what I was looking at this morning. These are the gappers. These are the stocks moving up pre-market with a catalyst. I know these all have the potential to be in play. So I've got to filter through this list and try to figure out which ones are best to trade. ASPS at the top, 13% gapper. It's a 9 million share float with 21% short. That's a nice combination, but only 14,000 shares of pre-market volume is really too thin. We're not going to be able to trade that out of the gates. Probably not till after 10, until at least 500,000 shares have come into it. So that was off the list right away due to lack of volume. ONVO, this had news. 12% gap, 72 million share float with 23% short. The float's a little on the heavier side for a $4 stock. Out of the gates, I wasn't against this along. Looking at this chart right here, I was thinking probably above 416, maybe that pivot, breaking above that level there, would take us back up to 423 and maybe a little squeeze out of the gates. But the thing is, when we get heavier floats, and 72 million isn't that heavy, but the heavier we get, the slower these move. And CYTX, this was a stock that we were watching yesterday out of the gates. And remember, I said, I like it, but it's got almost 100 million share float. I just don't think it's going to be a big mover. Market opens on let's see, actually no, this first candle had 2 million shares traded, and it traded in a 9-cent range. There's nothing we can do with that. I mean, how do we trade that? That's just too thickly traded. So no trades on that one yesterday, and ONVO was not worth trading today. BLDP, you can see that's the next one on the gap scan. Same thing, it's 130 million share float. Yeah, it had news, it was a nice gap, 10%, but it doesn't have the float that's going to result in nice quick moves. So nothing on this one. CLVS. This I thought was okay, but oftentimes this price range, $75 stocks, can be very whipsaw-y. So I don't usually like to trade them right out of the gates. I'd instead like to trade on the first pullback. When they go red right at the open, I usually don't bother with them. This would have been actually okay for a red to green move right here, but I didn't take that trade, and instead I was focused on some other things. So Bind, this one I liked out of the gates long, and I did trade this. So this has a nice pre-market flag, not that much different from ONVO or CLVS or BLDP. Nice pre-market flag, but the float, it's a 9 million share float. Okay, we have 217,000 shares pre-market volume. So we've got volume, we have the float. This is the combination that we're looking for. So I said I'm getting long over 640, the pre-market high. As soon as the bell rings, pops 640, goes up to 665. Nice quick winner on the gap and go. All right, comes down here for a second, and I actually jumped in on this pullback looking for a move back up, and this yellow line was my stop. As soon as that broke, I stopped out, took the loss. So I made more on the winner than I lost on the loser, so I'm green on the name, but I did take a loss on that second trade on that red candle. It is what it is. Getting in on the pullback, you don't have the confirmation, but you're going to get a good average. So you know that you've got a little bit more risk, but when they do go, you've got a better average. Okay, so Bind, those were my first two trades. Then I moved over to WBAI. Now, this was halted all day yesterday. All right, I guess did it open us? Let's see. Yeah, it was halted all day yesterday. Opened this morning and made a very quick move right out of the gates. I mean, this opened at, let's see, 11.99 or yeah, 11.99, and had a high at 16.80. So what a big move on this one today. Now, this really wasn't on my radar because I thought, oh, well, it was halted yesterday. I'm not too interested in it. Out of the gates, it started running, and you can see this would have been really great for a pullback trade right here and possibly right in here. Although this red candle I'm not a big fan of. Okay, now I did trade it on this ramp up here. So I got in on the move up right here at 1550, which was on the high side. After we broke out of this, we got a little pullback on this candle. And I got in on the 1 minute setup and just scaled out on this move here up to 16. It was up to 16 and then it made another move up to 1660, 1680. So that was a solid trade overall. You know, it was not a huge winner because I wasn't able to size up. I felt that I was chasing it, but I was able to, you know, pick off a couple dollars on that move right in here, this little squeeze, which really was from a low of 1428 all the way up to 1680. That's a big move. So that was good. Next one, PSTR. This was an afternoon trade, and basically right at, well, it was like 1 o'clock, there was some news that came out on this, but volume on this on a typical day is ridiculously low. Volume yesterday was 9,000 shares. Okay, day before, yesterday was 43,000, yesterday was 9,000. So this trade's on average basically no volume. Now on 300,000, 400,000 shares, it moved up from 250 all the way up to 480. I got in this right here on the pullback. Got long at 467, getting in on the pullback, stops at the low, and they made the move up to 84, but then it came back down, didn't end up taking profit. I was looking for the break of 87 for a move up to $5, but we didn't get it. Came back down, broke the 9 moving average, consolidated at the 20, and made a move back up. I got back in over here near the highs, looking for that high of day break and squeeze into the close, tested the high of day, and came back in. So stopped out on that one as well. So a little frustrating on those trades. And honestly, the moral of the story today was trade the morning, and in the afternoon, don't trade unless there's a catalyst. This was a catalyst, but the volume was really light. So the only thing worth trading in the afternoon is news. And this, you know, this was okay, but the volume was just too light on it. So now midday, I started playing around with this pullback scanner because we had a couple of really nice trades. Mike, one of our moderators, he called out this trade that he took on SPLK long off this candle right here. So long around 62.50 and sold on the move up to 63.45. Really nice clean breakout on this. Buying the pullback. Okay, we had another pullback right in here, made another nice move up. So SPLK, really nice pullback opportunity. CM, another really nice pullback opportunity. Same with WBAI. All right, so recognizing that some of the best trades today were on the pullbacks rather than buying the high a day squeeze was helpful. So I'm going to focus tomorrow on trying to use the scanner a little bit more and find some of these setups that have just pulled back. You know, right now the market has been a little bit choppier. Buying the high a day break, which, you know, in some markets works really well, just has not been working very well the last week or so. And a nice reminder, and I'll pull up this picture here, anytime, you know, I kind of go through a funk of just not really, you know, just choppy markets, I like to take a look at a clean chart. Okay, this is a chart on NDRM back in December, and it was so nice. We got long this at 880, squeeze up to 11, pullback, bought the pullback, and the squeeze up to 12, consolidation, bought the pullback, consolidation, bought the pullback, consolidation even after a big doji, and it still rips. This thing was an unstoppable beast. And, you know, it's nice when we get runners like this, and, you know, stocks the last couple of days just haven't been moving very cleanly. You know, the best thing to do right now is just to sit tight, wait for the good setups. Grinding through the choppiness, you're churning commissions, you're not likely to make big profits. The home run setups are few and far between right now. So the best thing to do is sit tight, wait for the good setups, and then when they come, you're ready to hit them. All right, so we'll be back at it first thing in the morning, 9 a.m., pre-market analysis, live in the chat room. All right, so I'll talk to you all first thing in the morning.